We live. Welcome to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons. I am Laura Simmons. Today I have with me Ursula D. Allen, the Hot Topic Princess, Margaret Green, the Real Estate Queen, and Shanita J., the Celebrity Gossip Queen. Yes, yay! How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing fine.
Doing pretty good.
Good. Ursula, can you hear us?
She froze again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess she's fine too.
I can hear you. I can't see your sister and Shanita. I cannot see them. Their screen is black. They probably can't see me either.
Yeah, we can see you. It's just you're not moving though. Yeah, your screen is frozen.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're gonna jump into our day for today. We're gonna start out with our real estate queen today. All right, get us going, Margaret Green.
Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to be able to bring this little bit of information, little tidbits about real estate and what to look for, and how to prepare yourself. I'm going to start out with my topic is going to be preparation to buy. The first thing you want to do is get credit ready, reduce debt, keep credit accounts at or below 30%, your debt to income ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, you want to get pre-approval. And once you get pre-approval, you get a letter from the lender saying that you've been approved for a certain amount of money. Now, there's a process of pre-approval and there's a process of pre-qualified. Pre-qualified gets you, that's number 3, which is pre-qualified gets you prepared to get to pre-approval. The pre-approval and the pre-qualified process is just the beginning process to get approved. They are collecting they're collecting your debt information, your credit information, your W-2 tax information, your current employer. All those things are important when you're preparing to get pre-qualified for a mortgage. One of the things I would definitely recommend: do not create more credit while you're in the process of trying to get a house, and do not change jobs while you're trying to get a house, because if you change jobs, no matter if it's going to be more money or not, it can stop your process right where it is, and you will have to start all over again, and you have to wait for another 6 months to a year again to get pre-qualified, because even if it's in the same field, that's a no-no. You just don't do it. Just wait until you have finished and you have closed on your mortgage. And then you don't want to, you don't have to buy to the max of what you've been pre-approved for. So say, for instance, you was approved for $400,000. That doesn't mean you need to go and get a mortgage for $400,000. Yes, in some states, you may have to use the full amount of your pre-approval because that's where the market is, the price market and the price points are. It's getting harder and harder now because in some places values have skyrocketed. So it's in some cases almost impossible to find something. But every now and then there's something that come on the market that might be within your price point. The other thing is because it helps keep your debt to income ratio. If you can keep it below the amount that you was pre-approved for, that leaves you room for, if you wanted to say for instance later on you may want to buy some investment property. They're going to look at your debt to income ratio and they're going to look at all your debt. They're going to look at your current mortgage. They're going to look at all what you have right now, any credit cards, any loans, and don't co-sign for anybody either. And they're going to look at all that. And once they look at what you're asking to borrow, along with what you already have in your name as far as credit is concerned, and that will determine whether or not they can loan you any more money, and whether or not your current income, your debt, whether or not it will be sufficient to accommodate another mortgage on another piece of property. Or in some cases, you can refinance your current mortgage to take cash out to get the other property. It's totally up to you. It's totally up to you. And one of the things you want to keep in mind is PMI. Private mortgage insurance is part of usual with mortgages when your down payment is less than 20%. If you put down 3.5, which is what FHA usually allow you to put down, the minimum is 3.5% with FHA. If you put down 3.5%, then you're going to have PMI insurance. So your mortgage will consist of PI, TI, and then you would have private mortgage insurance, because your basic mortgage is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. That's what your actual regular mortgage is. The PMI come in when you are below 20% loan to value. So you want to keep that in mind when you're making a decision about down payment, how much you can afford to put down, and then that usually, and with the FHA, that usually lasts with the life of the loan. Now with conventional loans, you can actually put down less, but and then once your property reached the value of 20% loan to value, you can actually request that the PMI insurance be removed from your mortgage, because that's usually another $200 and more a month added to your mortgage. So you want to definitely keep that in mind when you're buying a house, when you're making a down payment, because once that because once you get started with that, if you do that, like if you do with FHA, that's different. It stays with the life of the loan in most cases. And what you want to also keep in mind is consider your overall budget and current expenses, so you can have room to continue to save money for that rainy day, for the emergency situation that you might be in, that you find yourself in, so you can be able to handle any expenses if something happens. So you want to make sure that you keep your budget within arm's reach, where you don't have to go overboard. So those are some of the things that I just wanted to touch bases on, and so I can get you ready to buy that first home, buy that second home, or buy that investment property. And that's my spin on real estate today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Good tips.
Good tips. Good tips. Okay, so Shanita J, let's bring that celebrity stuff on, baby girl.
Well, on a less brighter note, I would like to send my condolences to Regina King and her family. She lost her son to apparent suicide. He was 26 years old, so
Wow.
very heart-wrenching.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah, that is definitely.
Yes. She took him along with her to award shows and everywhere.
She sure did.
Make sure she shout him out in different speeches, because over the years she's definitely been bringing home those accolades, and so I'm pretty sure this is a very tumultuous time for her.
Yeah, so my heart goes out to Regina King and her family as well. I did see a show with Vivica Fox and Lisa Ray. It's called Crowns and Queens or something like that, or some cups or something. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, they were on there, and Vivica Fox said that she did get a chance to talk to Regina King, and Regina King had called her and asked her to come over, and you could see the tears in
And all their
Visitors.
faces, really.
Yeah. She was like, she was ready to break down, and I just felt so sorry for them, for her, for Regina, being a parent myself. That's something that's very devastating. So because of that, and Ursula was supposed to mention it, but Ursula is having problems with her camera. So what I wanted to talk about, my hot topic today, is mental health. I'm going to talk about mental health today because there are so many people out here that's suffering from suicide, depression, and it's just so many things that they're dealing with. And we have to watch our young people as much as possible because they're starting at very young ages. And actually, I did a little research on it, and it was saying that suicide is the fourth leading cause of death amongst 15 to 19-year-olds. They said 77% of global suicides occur in low and middle income countries. So yeah, so um I just it's just so sad. And honestly, we all go through depression. We all deal with depression in our own different
Right.
ways, and yeah, we suffer with it. And I can remember a time as a young lady, um, at a very young age. I was younger than 15 though. I was probably about, I want to say about 12 years old, and I went through depression. I was going through it, and I went through it really, really bad. And I know that there is a God, and I'm gonna say this because I remember I was really, really depressed about something that I couldn't do, and I got tired of kids picking with me as a kid when I was younger. I went through the bullying with people bullying me, and they won't, and different things like that, and I remember myself as a young lady, when I thought about it. So I truly understand, and it's heart wrenching when you don't have anyone to talk to, because you feel like at that moment you feel like you have nobody. You might have your parents and things like that, but it's not that easy to talk
Mm-mm.
to people about
Mm-mm.
what you're dealing with, because nobody really understands what you're going through. And as an adult, it's even worse as we get older, because it's like you feel lost, you when you
Right.
go through those depressions and stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's something that we have to really, really pay attention to. We have to pay attention to our loved ones. We have to make those phone calls when we don't really feel like making those phone calls,
Mhm.
because you just don't know. And they were saying
Yeah.
that for that young man, they were saying that he basically put something on his social media about SpongeBob, and he was saying that that's how he feel. It says SpongeBob had all these things coming out of his brains and stuff, and they said that he was saying that he felt the same way.
Yeah, I heard. I read that too. I
Mm-hmm.
read that too. It was another one. It was another one that committed suicide today. Another celebrity's son. He was also 26. I
Mm.
can't remember his. I think his name was Matten. I think was his name. I think has that committed suicide. I saw it on Yahoo News when I was looking up when I was going on my email. And I was like, I said, another young man, 26 years old. Um,
Yeah.
and so it's sad when they feel that there's no other way but to take their life.
Right.
And because the reality of it is it not only hurts that person, but it hurts that family
Family.
and the people that
Yeah.
they leave behind.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And
And you can't bring them back. And,
no, you
that's the
can't.
worst
And
part
because
about it.
and the first thing a parent think is, what did I do wrong? What did I miss? What did I not see? And how come I didn't see the signs? And the thing about it is, it's not that you didn't see it. It's just that sometimes they mask it well,
Oh
you know.
yeah.
I
They
mean,
Yeah,
I
mask
they
think
it
do.
very
that
well,
even
and
people who
he
go through,
apparently did.
yeah. You know, even people who go through depression, they mask it well. It's like, I'm okay, I'm fine. And they smile and joke, but deep down inside, I mean, they are truly suffering. Yeah, it's a tug of war. It's a mental, I call it a mental Olympics. It's not, you know, fun. You trying to get to the finish line, but sometimes you want to almost give up in the midst of it. You know what I'm saying? It is very terrifying, you know, because sometimes, you know, those dark thoughts can be very consuming. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if someone feels alone and they don't have anyone, it's very hard for them to open up and even be that vulnerable. So, you know, they have different avenues now, like with therapy and things like that. But so many people don't want to even take that step. They just immediately may hop on antidepressants. And sometimes if you don't have the right doctor, that can make it worse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
that's
yeah.
true. Because they ought to
Yeah.
especially when you get older, when you get in your 50s and older, a lot of times they automatically assume, oh, you're just going through the change. Sometimes it ain't just that. You just that sometimes you just really you are going through deep depression, you know. And it was like a episode of Golden Girls one time when she said she was going through, it was Dorothy. She was going through something and it was messing with her mentally and everything. And then the doctor told her, oh, it's just he made it seem like it was just menopause that she was going through until she found out what it really was. And she thought she was crazy at first, and until she found out, till she got a hold to the right doctor. And so you have to sometimes keep trying until you find the right person that actually hear you, not just see you, but hear you.
Yeah, that's very crucial, because like I've been in a situation like that before where a doctor mismedicated me. I was going through postpartum, and I didn't realize at the time that was what was going on with me. I ended up talking to my provider, and it would really kick up around the time of, you know, when we're going through our thing every month. Okay. And so she prescribed me something, just gave me something, and she told me to take it for the week before and the week during, and then stop. You can't just stop those kind of medicines. You can't take it consistently and just stop, because then all that, what it is balancing, it just plummets, and you just feel like it's over. So, you know, that's why it's very important to ask questions, especially if you're new to any of those things. It is fine to talk to somebody in therapy. Therapy is a great thing. And even with therapists, you have to do trial and error. It's okay to fire them. It's okay to find a new one.
And that's with anything. That's with any doctor. Because, you know, they're gonna always. A lot of times, I'm not bashing them, but there are a lot of times where they give you medication for it's almost like you're a guinea pig almost. You're trying it, but they really don't know if it's going to benefit you. So they'll tell you, well, let me know how this works. If it works, if it helps. If it doesn't help, let me know. We'll change something else. We'll give you something lighter, or we'll give you something stronger. So, you know, so that's why you got to know your own body.
Oh yeah.
You got to know your own your physical being. You got to know your mental state of what. Just like right now, I went to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor gave me these drops. Well, my eye been hurting me all day. My right eye been hurting me all day. I took them drops last night. And so I called him and I said, I don't understand. I said, my left eye is fine, but my right eye is hurting, and it's just been throbbing. And it even hurt to look. And I'm thankfully that I am able to be on here now, because it was even hurting to look at my phone screen, less known the computer screen.
Right.
And if to look at light, it hurt it even worse. And so she said, so they told me, well, just take one of them tonight and come in tomorrow morning, because we got to make sure that there's nothing serious going on with your eye, because my eye pressure was up so high. So it's like, okay,
why didn't you check that beforehand though?
Right. Why didn't you make sure that you was giving me the right one, the right prescriptions for what I needed? That's because I don't want you to just give me something just to try to address one thing, and then it ended up creating something else. That's why some reasons why I'm real particular about taking every prescription that is prescribed to me, because it can fix one thing and create something else. So that's the same thing with those antidepressants, those medications like that. It may fix one thing, but then all of a sudden it creates something else, and the person said, well, they were on antidepressants, so they was taking medication to keep their mood swings under control. Well, you don't know what else it triggered in the process.
Exactly. And from experience myself, I remember a few years back, my daughter was like probably 2 years old, and they said, I was always I've learned this because I started reading up on it, that you can go through postpartum depression up until your child is 5 years of age.
Right.
Okay, so I was going through it. But I was going through some kind of depression and stuff. So I'm gonna tell you one thing I learned about when you tell a doctor that you're going through some kind of depression or whatever the case may be, they will give you all types of medications. They love to give medications. Not all medications are good for us.
Nope.
So I remember they gave me one medication. He gave me I was on like probably 10 different pills,
right,
10 different medications, and I remember sitting on the side of the bed and I was crying, just crying, and I was constantly crying. And I remember in my mind I was thinking to myself, I just want to jump out this window. That was my thought. So I started talking to my sister, and she told me that she was like, you have to do research on the medications that the doctor give you. Just because it's a doctor does not mean that everything that he give you is right for you or something you should be taking.
Right.
And so when she told me that, that's when I realized that I needed to start taking myself off the medications. So when I went back to the doctor was like, so are you taking this, and then now mind you, he had put me on like 10 different pills. So when I went back to the doctor, I was on 3 pills, and that was my blood pressure medicine, and that was it. Because I had decided myself that I was taking myself off this medication, because this medication had me so freaking depressed, and I was ready to jump out the window. My thoughts was to jump out the window. My kids would ask me, Mom, what's wrong? And I couldn't even tell them because I didn't even know.
Yep. And as a parent, now, I've also stopped taking my stuff too. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it don't, like you said, it made me feel worse. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like I need to feel, because sometimes it can numb you up too. It can make you so just deadpan and dry. Like you don't know, you don't have a sense of humor. You are not really
you just become lethargic,
a zombie. Yeah. So it's like, but for me, what I do, because my kids know, my older two, they know when something's up with me. I'm just very honest with them. Like, I'm going through something right now. Just give me a day or give me the rest of this day and stuff like that, versus them think, because they are at the age where they're like, well, what's wrong with her? Like, well, what did we do? Or, you know what I'm saying? They think that you're, and like you said, when you going through that, you can't explain to that person or whoever it is exactly what it is. Cause you already think you sound crazy. You already feel like a little psychopath, and you feel like you don't want to make it worse. And then, like, especially like for me, I'm kind of leery about sharing certain things with doctors sometimes, with the fact that I do have children, because I don't want them to try to take my kids away from me for something that I need to try to work out and fix, or whatever the case may be. I'm not, too, like, there are some cases where those women didn't say a word to anybody, and they do harm their children, versus me, I know what I'm going through. I know what's happening. So I talk about it. I let their father know, I let him know, I let the kids know, and just, we've been working through it. I've been doing a lot better, especially just even acknowledging it, just acknowledging
that there's a problem.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So, and just not letting certain things get to me, because that adds to what you already going through, and then other people or things add on to that, and nobody care. Sometimes people,
and stress too.
Yeah. So I can't, I'm good.
Yeah, because I had a situation where my doctor told me, when this was my family doctor. He tells me, my primary doctor, he told me, and when I went to the doctor, and he told me, he said, "Are you taking this medicine or just not?" I said, "No, I stopped taking it because," I said, "because it started making me feel weird," and I said, "It just didn't feel comfortable taking it." Because at first he says, "Oh, you're doing good. You this came down, and this is great, and that's great." And so I said, so he said, "So you're taking your medicine?" And I said, "No, I stopped taking it after 2 weeks." I said, and this was like a year later. I said, "I stopped taking it after 2 weeks." I said, because it made me feel weird, and I just felt crazy. I said, my whole mood had changed. And he said, "Oh, you just have to get used to it. Your body has to get used to it. It's not used to that. So that's why you need to continue to take it." So he told me, "Well, I'm going to have to double your prescription." And I'm thinking, okay, why would you have to double my prescription when what the results I got from not taking it anymore after taking it for 2 weeks, I stopped taking it. And this was a year later when I came back from my yearly physical. Now you want to tell me that you need to double my medication. Okay. I said, that didn't make sense to me. And I'm like, because everything you were saying, I was doing great until I told you I wasn't taking that medicine no more. Okay. So now it became offensive to him. So he was like, "I just don't understand. If you're not gonna do what I tell you, then I can't be your doctor." And I'm like, hey, it's not gonna benefit me.
We're gonna read some of the comments because we're getting comments over here. You want to read them, Shanita? Or
we got Dante Thompson. That's right. That's why they're called practicing.
Okay. And then she.
Also by Dante Thompson. But so many of us take what they say is wrong without doing our research.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also Dante, they want to get they want to get you used to being numb. That's true.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah. They want us to be like zombies. That's exactly it. Because I remember when the medications that they had gave me, when he gave me all those medications to take and stuff, I was not myself. I felt like I just felt like I was walking on clouds. I felt like I didn't even belong here. I felt like an alien or something. I just did not feel like myself. I didn't feel like my normal self. And then another thing, what I learned also, this is something from my studying and paying attention to stuff, because sometimes we have to pay attention to what we are consuming, because that can trigger it off too. Because I remember one of my friends, I used to, every time he would always notice this, one of my coworkers would notice that he said that, "What did you eat for lunch today?" Because every time I would eat lunch and I come back off of lunch, I'm like in a depressed mood. So he started saying, "Well, you know what? Maybe it's the food you're eating." So I started, instead of having a chicken sandwich or some kind of meat for lunch, I started eating salads at lunchtime. Then I noticed my whole attitude was totally different from when I would eat that meat. And then I thought about something that my mom used to say a long time ago. She used to say that if you ever see an animal when they're getting ready to slaughter it, it is depressed. It goes through depression. And because that animal is going through depression, that is in the meat that you're eating, that you're consuming. And because it's in the meat, that's why you are having those reactions yourself. You're going through the depression. And another thing that I learned also, this young lady, it was a young lady that way back, she wrote this book. And the book was about weave. She was talking about weave and stuff. She said, you have to be careful about the kind of weave that you put in your hair, because she said that some weeds will cause you depression. You're taking on something that somebody else had, the depression they may have been, the state of mind they may have been in.
That spirit.
You're taking it, right? You're taking it into your own mind by you putting it in your
on
head.
your head. That's true.
Yeah.
That is very true.
When she
Yeah,
said that,
I've
I
heard
was
that
like,
before too.
huh?
I've heard that before too.
Yeah, when she told me that, I was like, I looked at her like at first I looked at her like she was crazy, but she was being a realist. Actually, what she was saying was real. And if I could only think of the name of her book, but it was something about wigs. It was a book about wig hair. And she said, she said, that's why I cut all my hair off and I'm natural now. She said, I don't put no processing in it. She said, I don't do any of those things, because she said that I found myself going through like deep depressions. And she said, and I didn't understand that what was causing it, but it was because she said this hair, she said she noticed every time she would put weave in her hair, she would go through those changes. She would go through deep depressions. She said it, and it was just crazy. And with me, I started noticing it when I would eat meat. I would get into these depressing moments and stuff, and it's like, oh my gosh, come on. I'm like, this can't be. And I'm like, I don't understand. And then when my coworker told me that, I started paying attention to it. Another thing that will cause you depression, and a lot of people they eat it, candy, sweets, sugar.
That is for sure.
That will cause it.
Yeah, because of the saturated fat, it's a processed food and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
now I gotta pray over my weave. You do. Cast it out.
I don't need to laugh, but that is
But what you over there doing? Oh, I'm just casting out these demons.
Out my
like,
weave.
come on out
today.
Oh, this is what she doing to her weave. She got the hair in my hand. Come on now. Come on now.
I got dysfunction. Get my hair done.
Wow, that's funny.
Yeah, and back in the day, if you all remember, y'all, she cried. But back in the day, I don't know if y'all remember this or not. Well, Shanita, I don't think you would remember because you was quite young. But I remember back in the day, they used to say a lot of the elder, the women back then stayed depressed more than a little bit, but it was because they were in the house, in the houses so much. So because of the pandemic, that plays a major part in depression as well for people, because sometimes them 4 walls, it's just like
I feel like they're closing in on you.
Exactly. So it will cause you depression as well. So I'm thinking to myself, I was saying to myself, they say that they didn't understand, but what I also learned is that because you got money does not mean that you don't go through depression. Exactly. And that young man gave you a great example of it, because his mom is well off, and they live in the hog life, but he still was depressed. So you just show you that it don't matter if you got money. And I was reading the numbers. They were saying globally 77% globally suicidals occur in low and middle income countries. Well, that young man was not middle class, but it just go to show you it doesn't matter if you got money or not. You could go through depression. Depression happens to everyone.
Well, that's just like with anything. Money cannot buy your health. We saw that with several people who died with diseases, and they money couldn't buy them a healing. So it's just that you just gotta I say this, and I always say this, is you just gotta keep prayer in your life. Yeah, there's time. Yeah, sometimes you feel like that God is not hearing you, but trust me, he hears you. You just gotta be patient and try and keep fighting, because the enemy is going to always be trying to put things in your mind and in your heart so you can, and for you to dwell on. I mean, just like Jesus had to deal with the same thing. The enemy attacked him when he was at his lowest point, and that's what happens. They come at you at your lowest point, and that's when it really wreak havoc on you. And sometimes things gets even worse, one thing after the other. You'd be like, well, when am I going to get a break? And sometimes people think the best way is to just check out, and it's not always the best. It's not the best way, So I truly understand how it is when you go. I remember one time I had been binge eating chocolate kisses one day.
The whole bag.
I was eating them chocolate kisses. There was the almond chocolate kisses. I like almonds. I'm up there, so I'm wondering what's wrong with me. I said, "Well, I feel crazy." I went into the bathroom, standing up against the wall, just looking. I know what's wrong with me.
Sound like a little kid who had too much candy.
So when I called one of my sisters, and I said, I feel crazy. I don't know what's wrong with me. So she said, well, what you eat? I said, I did eat some chocolates today. I've been eating quite a bit of chocolate. I had some chocolate kisses, and I had some chocolate Hershey's, and I had some almond chocolate almond joy. I had a whole bunch of chocolate that day. And she said, you know what? That's probably what it is. You ate too much chocolate. You had too much sugar in your system. And I mean, I really felt like a nut. So it is true. You have to be careful. I know I'm a little nutty all the time anyway.
I was just getting ready to say that, but I didn't. I was trying to give you a little break there and not say it, but I was ready to say that.
I was having one of them moments like what's his name from Friday when he was going like this.
Oh, Smokey.
That's what I was having. I was having one of the moments of just like twitching for no reason. So
and too, all that caffeine in that chocolate.
I know, and I didn't even think about it. I was just popping that out.
Like, dang,
I had started at work eating the candy. Then I got home. I was just studying until I started feeling crazy.
But did y'all know that suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States? Did y'all know that?
Wow. No.
I can believe it though. I mean, especially unfortunately among children, because back when I was in high school, we had cell phones, but not to the caliber that they are now. The cameras, and they're like little mini tablets, you know what I'm saying? And kids, when I was, younger and things like that, kids always instigate, they always start and stuff. But and you always had those kids that would try to do things with the girls or the guys trying to do certain stuff. Now they're recording these little girls, you know what I'm saying?
Putting it on Facebook and putting it out there.
Like the little girls that they be showing, they done followed her home and they beating her up, want to jump her at the door.
Exactly. So
that kind of stuff.
Today's children go through a lot more, because now not only are they going to school, and now too, these schools do so much more testing than they ever did too, where they testing them kids on everything every quarter and things like that, on top of dealing with those other little children who don't have warm and loving homes. So they come to school and take it out on them. So some of these kids think that's it, but they don't realize that this is a temporary situation.
We're gonna read some of the comments again. Go ahead.
Deontay Thompson said, amen. Prayer is the most important currency of our lives. Danielle Johnson, be strong and of good courage in all things, whether they be good or bad. Dang. Deontay said, dang, all that chocolate? And she said, did you have some of that special chocolate? Like them special brownies?
No, I ain't had none of those, but it felt like it.
You know what? After I learned what people do with brownies and stuff, I don't mess with nobody brownies. I don't want your brownies. I'll fix my own brownies.
Like,
I like it.
was that comedian Arnez J when he said when he was a kid he used to eat everything somebody gave him, and one time one kid gave him some Axelax chocolate.
Oh no!
And he said he saw the candy, he was like boom. And he said before you know his stomach was gone and he had to run. He had to get out of this classroom. I laughed so hard at him. I said, "Oh my gosh!" Well, that's true though. You gotta be careful.
Can't be taking everything from everybody. That's like I don't eat from everybody.
People putting marijuana in food nowadays, and
or some of everything. Candies. You know, they got the Sour Patch candies. I've been seeing reports on that recently too.
Yeah.
Well, that's been in schools.
Gummies, all kind of stuff. You thinking it's just regular. It's like, no.
And they putting stuff in it. Okay, so moving right along, Ursula wanted us to talk about, I don't know if you guys heard of the upcoming Bill Cosby movie.
I heard about it. I just hadn't heard a whole lot about it.
You heard about it too?
On Channel 5 this morning.
Oh, okay, this morning. What's the spiel?
She just said they are showing some of the people who say we should just cancel him. Wow. The ones that feel we should separate the man from the art. She said you could ask people what they think about that. That they saying that they should separate the man from his art. So she's saying they basically want him to disappear, basically, like they always do. I was just, matter of fact, it's so funny because this morning I was watching the Breakfast Club, and they were talking about they was talking to Erica Alexandra from Living Singles, the one that played Maxine Shaw.
Yeah.
Maxine Shaw in the house. That was my girl back then. But she was saying how Hollywood is so racist, and she was saying how they blackballed her and things like that. She was just saying those different things. But if you look back on history, they always blackball people, because you think about it. What is that guy named Lou Gossip Jr.? He was blackballed. That's why you never seen him on no more movie. They blackballed him. What's that little the little karate guy? I can't think of his name. Van Damme. They blackballed him too. He got blackballed too.
Wow.
So they just,
because he had allegations with Weinstein.
Right. So he got blackballed because also it was because he wouldn't accept some money. They wanted to give him they wanted to pay him a lower amount for a movie, and he felt that he should have. You got to know your worth,
right.
And so he knew his worth, and he felt that he should have got paid just the same amount as that other actor. Right. But they told him he was not going to get that. So the director told him that because of it, he won't act in nobody else's movie. And that's why you didn't see him for a long time either. But Lou Gossip Jr., they just blackballed him all the way, and that was it for him. You didn't see nothing else from him. He didn't have no more movies that that he was in. She said, why did they blackball her? Well, they blackballed her because she wouldn't accept the part in some movie that they wanted her to play in. They wanted her to play a slave in some movie, and she refused to do it. And because she refused to do the part, the director told her she would never work again. And so that's what happened. And she said that, so she started her own thing. Just like Tyler Perry said, he said that he got tired of sitting at tables where people make the decision, other people make the decision. So he's decided to create his own table. And this is what I tell people all the time. Let's stop waiting for somebody else to create the table for us. We need to create the table our own selves. You know, and that's what she did. Right. That's what she did. Her and her husband took a movie that she had written, and this movie now is making millions and millions of dollars now. And I guarantee you the person that rejected her, they wouldn't accept the movie. I guarantee they probably looking at that and saying they said, dang, we missed out on a lot of cash. Because
the same thing with Tyler Perry, because I remember when he said several people rejected him, and then he finally had one to say yes, and now they regret it, the ones who didn't take him, because now he's worth $500 million or almost $1 billion, if not more, so it's
and
like,
he's in control of his own destiny full-fledged.
When you know your worth, nobody can just tell you anything and you accept it, you have to know your worth.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's what she said. She said that she knew her worth. Her husband knew her worth, and he knew his worth. Well, her and her husband is no longer together, but they still working on this project together. And she said that it's a successful, it's been successful. So you can do anything you set your mind to, and all you need is that one person to say yes. Mm-hmm. And once that one person say yes, sky's unlimited.
I heard TD Jakes say that one time. He said all you need is that one yes. Mm-hmm. He said once you get that one yes, he said that's all you need is that one yes.
What's that group that sung that song? Say yes. Mm-hmm. You remember that song? Mm-hmm. My darling, for you I do it all again.
No, that's okay. Say no.
Deontay Thompson says it's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Y'all know I can see. It's just today I'm having a little dry throat, so I can't really hit the notes like I usually can.
I'll blame it on the cold weather, I guess.
Don't blame it on the sunshine. Don't blame it on the moonlight. Don't blame it on a good time. Blame it on the boogie.
Oh my gosh! We can't be doing.
We're getting a little nostalgia in the moment in the 70s, going way back.
Do it now. She said not the singing. I can't see. Y'all gotta stop now.
Be like trying to do a Michael Jackson move. Shoot, go one way.
At least y'all hair won't catch on fire.
Oh wow, you wrong for that. I cried when Michael Jackson's hair caught on fire. Honestly, I was crying. I was actually crying when his hair caught on fire. I was so hurt.
Yeah,
because
it was sad.
Then when they played it out on that American Dream, the movie or whatever, it was like. Well, I wonder, was it like that? Dramatic the way he. It's not funny, but you know when they showed it in the movie, he just rolled down them steps. It messed him up though. Had all that surgery.
Do you know that the young man that played Michael Jackson in that movie? Did you know that he passed away?
No.
Yes, the young man that was doing the dance of Michael Jackson.
Weaver?
No, not Jason Weaver. It was another young man that played Michael Jackson in another one of those Jackson stories.
Still a while.
No, not Jason Weaver. I can't think of the young man's name. He kind of favored Michael Jackson. And honestly, the young guy that played the part. Well, I just found out yesterday. I just seen this thing where they were showing him, and they showed that he had passed away. They were showing all the young people that had passed away, and he was one of them. And I was like, wow, when did this happen? But it's just, just because they don't say nothing doesn't mean that that depression ain't hitting them either, It's just like a celebrity when they lose, like look at what's his name, the little boy that played on Different Strokes. He was going through depression. They said that he beat up a man because of his depression, because he was so upset because he had to become a security guard.
Yeah.
You're talking about Coleman?
Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman, yeah.
They said that he got upset and he
they say he was rough now.
Yeah, they said
especially when you come up and asking him about what you talking about.
What you talking about, Willis? Yeah, I saw that too.
Those were fighting words back in the days.
Oh goodness. Even though Martin did it on that one episode.
I know. But he was getting paid for it, so he didn't care.
Deontay Thompson said, low one, Shanita. we love that Jerry curl.
Yeah, I
My
do too.
That
bad,
was the
you know,
era
but
of this Jerry curl, man.
as a child watching
Yeah.
that movie.
You remember that
so
what was that Coming to America? Y'all remember Coming to America
Yeah.
when there was that whole family was sitting on that couch and then they got up
All
and
that
did
Jerry
a
and
curl.
three
the soul
Yeah.
glow
all
on the
on
back
the
of the couch.
couch.
See, now
My
I
dad
remember
had
them
a
Jerry
Jerry
curls,
curl.
man, because I had one.
My
And
dad had one too, even when
when
his
I would wake
hairline was
up and the
back here.
plastic cap was
You
this way.
said what? His hairline was all the way back
My
there.
daddy tried to keep his Jerry curls. My dad had a bald spot. It was just, I guess he would still have mama put that stuff in it, the juice or whatever. And one day
He had a
came. He did. So one day he came out the bathroom. He had a bald head. And I was like, ooh. You don't know my dad had a milk dud head. So
He had a Jerry not no Jerry
Jerry
curl. Yeah,
Yeah,
Jerry curl.
he's still, used to come pick me up in his biker
he was
shorts.
like, so let your
Yeah, he was trying to let it flow. He had some length, it just wasn't right there.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It was the soul glow look. But yeah, I was gonna say this, when she was talking about the new movie for Bill Cosby, that he got that new movie coming out and stuff, and that they want him to just disappear and this and that. They, I don't agree with whatever he may have done or whatever the case may
Right.
be, but that does not erase a person's history because of the
Right.
fact that they did something wrong. You should not try to erase their history,
Yeah.
regardless of
If you're
what
gonna
they
do it,
did.
you need to do it for
Exactly.
everybody else who've done dirty.
Exactly. Look at
Right, even killers.
Look at R. Kelly. As
Mhm.
I noticed with R. Kelly. Okay, so R. Kelly did all the wrong. He did what he did, and so be it. But guess what? People still listen to his music. So
Mhm.
because he did what he did, so you go. The man is still talented, regardless of what we may think or what he
Mhm.
may have done, or whatever the case may be. You know. And I don't agree with either one of them. I don't agree with what they did, either one of them. But
Right.
my thing is, when you got talent, can no one take that talent away from you?
Away from
I
you.
don't care
Yeah.
what you try to do. That talent cannot be taken away because that's a gift from God. That was something that God gave to you, and
Mhm.
it's not meant to be taken away from you.
No.
So I don't care
Yeah,
how
because they
you
tried to
try.
even cancel when everything first came out with Bill Cosby. They had taken, because they
All
used
his
to say
shows, all the
they took it all
reruns.
off.
Yeah.
But TV One brought it back, that it
Mhm.
comes on and stuff like that. But he was on a few different channels for the reruns, and they just cut him off. And I feel like that's very drastic. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And I mean, if that's the case again, like there are people. I don't know. For example, you guys ever watch that show, Sweetie Pie?
Mhm.
No,
Okay,
I never watched
I've watched it.
her son did kill for hire on his own nephew.
Yeah, I heard about that. I
You
was
know what I'm
shocked
saying?
when I heard that he had him killed.
He had his own nephew killed, and they showed little clips of him just all distraught. But he the one who paid for the person to kill his young nephew.
Yeah,
You know
and that
what
was
I'm
his
saying?
brother's son.
He killed his own nephew.
I
But
said, well,
they still
well, did
show
he have
Sweetie
his brother
Pies.
killed too? That's what I was wondering. I was like, well, if you had your own nephew killed, did you have your brother killed?
Yeah.
I kind of, wondered
We're gonna
about
take
that too.
we're gonna take a few questions because they loading up and they hiding. So go ahead with the first
Danielle
one.
Johnson says, "Our God is a second chance God. Who are we to judge? You right?"
Yeah.
Sybil Richardson says, what about Woody Allen? Okay, he married his daughter and still continues making films. Now I feel Sybil on
Yeah,
that
I
because
heard about that one.
I never understood, and it was not a secret. It was known, and he still made movies.
Yeah.
Deontay Thompson said, "How can you? The man inspires so many comedians. The art stands alone." Yeah.
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 Yep.
That's true.
And Danielle Johnson, I agree with Laura Bell, my beautiful friend, Bill Cosby and R. Kelly.
Mm-hmm.
In regards to, and she said, "What?" And Danielle Johnson said, "What? Wow." And Deontay Thompson says, "Okay."
Yeah, that's crazy though. That is crazy. And and somebody else that did some craziness that they tried to blame him, but recently they found out, just from the granddaughter, that it wasn't true. You remember they was trying to say that Morgan Freeman had married his step
Yeah,
granddaughter.
yeah.
Well, it wasn't true. He said it wasn't true. She said it wasn't true. And then, to show you just how hateful and just to prove people wrong, that it wasn't nothing going on between her and her granddad, she went back to her ex-boyfriend who was abusive, and he killed her.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh, I didn't know about
I
that
didn't
one.
know about
Yes,
that
he
one.
killed her. So that's why
Wow.
it's like, okay, so the people was judging this man, and they were saying that he was doing things to her, and that him and her had a relationship. They were married and all this other stuff, but they had a relationship. The relationship that they had, that was her granddad. Her
Mhm.
granddad, they were just close. But they were saying that he was married to her and they were messing around. Well, she went back to the ex-boyfriend, and the ex-boyfriend killed her.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know,
That's bad.
and they said they was like, it's nobody said anything about it.
No,
Yeah.
no one's gonna retract
No.
anything, especially when a lie is more believable.
That's
Um,
true.
they'll
Very
never
true.
they'll never retract. Or you know what? Accountability is the word of the day, y'all.
Mhm.
Nobody seems to ever want to take that in regards, like, oh dang, I did say that. Oh
Mm-hmm.
well,
But
you
you all
know.
Yeah.
notice a lot of times when it comes to us, we are dragged through the mud, and then everybody else be like, oh, they talk about it for a little while, then you don't hear about it no more. You
Yeah.
Oh,
know.
because they definitely pay it out, and
Mhm.
like you said, we have to create our own table. So, in those
Mhm.
regards, those people are gonna always have a seat. But if
Mhm.
we're relying on that seat and that opportunity, we gonna keep on being in the same situations where we allow them to blackball us.
Mhm.
Yeah. That is so true.
And our black dollars are the one keeping a lot of things going, but we always are the last one get any money from anybody.
Yeah, that is
Mm-hmm.
so true. But we're gonna be winding down. So I'm gonna just say, make sure that you guys are following us on Instagram, which is Inspirational Talks with L underscore Simmons. In YouTube, it's Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. And TikTok is Inspirational Talks with L Simmons. Yeah, I'm a little slow, y'all. So no.
We realize that you got on them glasses and you still slow.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, but I wanted to give yeah, no, I just wanted to make sure that I said that.
Mhm.
Anybody had anything else they want to say? Let's and our sponsor today was Mother Daughter Team LLC again. Um and I wanted to promote our hats and t-shirts, Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons on there. Um you can purchase them. All you got to do is DM me to get your hat. And what else would I want? Oh, and we're gonna show a video before we get out of here. Yeah.
Oh.
I love that. I love that commercial.
That sound like one of them birds. Wow, wow, wow.
That's my favorite video, y'all. I just had to share that with y'all. And we thank you, Margaret Green, for sharing the information that you shared with us today. Um
Real
and
estate information.
yes, ma'am. And we're gonna get ready to shut it down. Anybody got anything last final words?
You can find me on Instagram at Central Salts and Scents. Also, centralsaltsandscents.com is where you can go to purchase candles and bath salts. Valentine's Day is coming up, people. Go on ahead and get your orders in now.
Okay.
That's right. And you can find me on Margaret Harris Green on Facebook. If you want to hit me up and want to talk further about real estate, need some consultation, hit me up. I'm always ears open and ready to give information.
Okay. And if you guys want to buy books, you can go to my I'm sorry. You can go and check out my books and stuff on www. I don't even know. Oh, www.mother-daughter-team-books LLC or mother-daughter-team mother-daughter-team-books.com. You can go on there and purchase the books. All right, people.
All right.
All right.
All right. And thank you guys for tuning in to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. I'm Laura Simmons. We had Shanita J and Margaret Green. Ursula D. Allen was having problems with her camera tonight, but she'll be on Thursday. And Thursday, our special guest is who do we have? We have James Gordon on Thursday. That's our guest for Thursday. He's a award-winning author and acclaimed actor. So make sure you tune in Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right, guys. You guys have a good evening. Love you guys. Later.
Bye. Love y'all.
Bye.